Most people think attachment happens because of love, personality, or destiny, but psychology tells a very different story. Attachment begins long before love. It starts the moment your brain decides someone feels emotionally safe. Safety doesn't mean happiness. It means familiarity, predictability, and emotional recognition. When someone listens to you, validates your pain, or makes you feel seen during a vulnerable moment, your brain quietly marks them as important. From that moment on, attachment is no longer a choice, it's a process. And the scary part is, most people don't even realize it's happening. This is why people get attached even when the relationship isn't healthy. The brain doesn't attach to what's good, it attaches to what feels emotionally significant. If someone enters your life when you're lonely, insecure, or overwhelmed, their presence becomes amplified. Psychology calls this emotional imprinting. Your brain links relief to a person, so later, when they pull away, the pain feels intense, not because they're special, but because your nervous system learned to calm down around them. Losing them feels like losing emotional stability. Another powerful reason attachment forms is dopamine. Every time someone gives you attention, affection, or approval, dopamine is released. Dopamine doesn't create happiness, it creates desire. That's why attachment feels like craving, not peace. Over time, your brain starts chasing the feeling it got from that person. And if their attention is inconsistent, the attachment becomes stronger. This is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's the same mechanism behind addiction. Your brain works harder for unpredictable rewards. So when someone sometimes cares deeply and sometimes disappears, your attachment deepens, not weakens. Oxytocin also plays a huge role. This hormone increases during deep conversations, emotional vulnerability, physical closeness, and shared experiences. Oxytocin creates bonding. It blurs emotional boundaries. That's why attachments formed through late-night talks, shared struggles, or emotional confessions feel so deep and hard to break. Your brain literally builds emotional glue, and once that glue sets, logic struggles to break it. Psychology also explains why attachment is stronger when your sense of self is weak. When people don't feel confident, secure, or fulfilled on their own, they subconsciously outsource their self-worth. The attached person becomes a mirror. Their presence makes you feel valuable. Their absence makes you feel empty. This is when attachment turns into dependency. You're not attached to the person anymore. You're attached to how you feel when you're with them. Fear of loss keeps attachment alive even when the relationship causes pain. The human brain hates loss more than it values gain. So instead of asking, is this healthy for me? The brain asks, what if I lose this? This fear keeps people emotionally stuck. They stay attached not because they're happy, but because letting go feels like emotional death. Psychology calls this loss aversion, and it explains why people miss someone who hurt them. Here's the truth most people never hear. Attachment is not weakness, it's biology. But healthy attachment feels calm, stable, and secure. Unhealthy attachment feels anxious, obsessive, and painful. The difference isn't love, it's nervous system regulation. When your brain feels safe within itself, attachment becomes a choice, not a need. When it doesn't, attachment feels uncontrollable. Understanding this changes everything. You stop blaming yourself. You stop thinking you're too emotional. You realize your brain was just doing what it was designed to do. And once you see attachment clearly, you gain the power to form healthier bonds, let go without self-destruction, and stop confusing emotional intensity with connection. If this made something click in your mind, that's awareness beginning. And awareness is the first step towards emotional freedom. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. Psychology makes this very clear. Detachment means you stop depending on someone else to regulate your emotions. Most people think letting go means forcing yourself to forget, distract, or replace someone. That never works long term. The brain doesn't detach through avoidance. It detaches through safety. And the moment your nervous system learns it can feel safe without that person, attachment naturally loosens. The first psychological shift is understanding that emotional pain after separation is not proof of love, it's withdrawal. Your brain became used to a certain emotional chemistry. Dopamine, oxytocin, comfort, validation, all of it formed a pattern. When that pattern breaks, the brain panics. This is why detachment feels physical. Tight chest, restlessness, overthinking. It's not your heart breaking, it's your nervous system recalibrating. Most people make detachment harder by constantly reopening the wound, checking their profile, replaying conversations, imagining alternate outcomes. Psychology calls this rumination, and it reinforces attachment circuits. Every mental replay tells your brain the person is still relevant. Detachment begins when you interrupt these loops, not by suppressing thoughts, but by grounding yourself back into the present moment. Your brain can't detach if it lives in memory. Another crucial step is reclaiming emotional regulation. When you were attached, you unconsciously relied on someone else to calm you down, motivate you, or make you feel okay. Detachment means rebuilding that ability internally. Simple actions like walking, writing, deep breathing, or physical movement aren't distractions. They teach your nervous system that relief can come from you, not them. This is how independence is rewired at a biological level. Psychology also shows that clarity dissolves attachment faster than time. As long as your brain believes maybe or what if, it stays emotionally invested. Detachment begins when you accept reality exactly as it is, not how you hoped it would be. Acceptance isn't weakness, it's cognitive closure. Once the brain stops waiting for an outcome, it stops holding on. One of the most uncomfortable steps is separating identity from attachment. When someone becomes part of your identity, losing them feels like losing yourself. So detachment requires rebuilding self-definition. Who are you without them? What routines, goals, and values belong to you alone? Every small action taken independently rewrites identity, and identity change is what makes detachment permanent. You also have to stop romanticizing emotional intensity. Psychology teaches that intensity is not connection, it's nervous system activation. Healthy bonds feel steady, not overwhelming. Once you understand this, your brain stops craving chaos disguised as passion. Calm starts to feel attractive again, and attachment loses its grip. Finally, detachment becomes real when you stop fighting the feeling and allow it to pass through you. Emotions weaken when they're felt without resistance. Cry if you need to, sit with the discomfort, let your body process what your mind keeps avoiding. Detachment isn't a dramatic moment. It's a quiet shift where the person slowly stops being the center of your emotional world. And one day, without realizing it, you'll notice something strange. You still remember them, but you don't need them. And that's when attachment transforms into understanding.